Hey guys, welcome to Peace Through Truth. It is actually Saturday, June 27th, 2015, 1:20 p.m. as I'm recording this. I just read an article from the MSN about a prominent anti-vaxxer, doctor, physician, whatever you want to call him, that has allegedly committed suicide. Now, make of it what you will. Could be a lot of things. This could be part of the banker deaths. This could be a part of the the agenda to quiet the opposition. Could be a complete psyop all around. Who knows? But anyway, let's just go over the article, see what they want us to think. Again, this was an article that was picked up on my Facebook feed, the old fascist book, coming through with more social agenda propaganda. And the link brings us right on over to CBS News, and I've had real trouble trying to render the size of my screens correctly recently, so bear with me. I'm going to try to give it a shot. All right, it says authorities, anti-vaccine doctor dead in apparent suicide. Now watch what they do here. It says that authorities say Dr. Jeff Bradstreet, who published research based on the medically disproved claim that vaccines cause autism, has been found dead in an apparent suicide in North Carolina. Another Carolina story. Yeah, I know it's North Carolina this time, but still. The Rutherford County Sheriff's Office said in a news release issued this week that Bradstreet died of what appears to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest. So they start off the article immediately by attacking the man's work and his character, and then, they claim he killed himself by shooting himself in the chest, which we know how common that is. Anyway, Bradstreet, who was from Brazelton, Georgia, was found in the Rocky Broad River in Chimney Rock on June 19th. His body was found by a fisherman. The sheriff's department said Tuesday that a handgun was also pulled from the river. Authorities are still investigating. Bradstreet ran a clinic in Beaufort, Georgia. He also owned Creation's Own, a maker of dietary supplements, which he also prescribed. The Gwinnett Daily Post reports that the agents from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, aided by the Georgia Drug and Narcotics Agency, raided the Bradstreet Wellness Center last week. The FDA did not reveal to the paper why the agents had searched Bradstreet's office. So obviously, these guys were putting pressure. The government was putting pressure on an anti-vaccine doctor, and he freaking killed himself. Wow. Anyway, Bradstreet's family is now raising funds online to investigate his death, including an exhaustive investigation into the possibility of foul play. The Bradstreet Wellness Center's website describes the practice's focus as treating children with autism spectrum disorder, PPD, and related neurological and developmental disorders through the use of measured biomarkers. Our mission is to positively impact children's lives by meeting their biological, behavioral, and nutritional needs, it states. Properly identify and address the underlying issues so that the child's brain, gut, and immune systems can begin to function and heal. In 2009, the U.S. Court of Federal Claims Office of Special Masters found that Bradstreet's research claiming causation between autism and environmental mercury exposure, which were published in non-peer-reviewed journals because none of his peers had the balls to review it, and his testimony about links between a young patient's autism and his MMR vaccination to be unconvincing and unsupported by evidence. It was probably unconvincing because the people, anyway, they weren't getting paid enough, possibly. The court's opinion also questioned Bradstreet's treatment of a Florida boy whose family had filed a claim under the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. Over several years, Bradstreet prescribed a variety of dietary supplements, de-yeasting, secretin infusions, immunoglobulin therapy, and chelation therapy, as well as numerous non-standard laboratory tests which were not FDA approved, because if the federal government's not making their money, they're not going to approve it. To hell if it actually works or if it actually helps the little boy. it's not FDA approved, right? Anyway, you could probably tell my bias from how I went through this article. But there is just a few things that I want to point out. Now, statistically, I don't know how many percent of people that commit suicide via gun would do it by shooting themselves in the chest. But I do know that they usually choose the temple or someplace in the head as opposed to taking their chances at possibly missing the heart, you know? So I think it's a lot more likely that someone shot the guy and figured they're so far away from anything that he's just going to bleed out without anybody, no help, no assistance. All they had to do is kick his cell phone away from him. You know what I mean? So anyway, now something I want to bring up real quick before I get too far off track. This article here from hangthebankers.com I came across a little while ago, and I'm definitely going to do a video on it. But this could tie into the suspicious banking deaths and other disappearances of higher up important people, more than likely Freemasons and their family, I would imagine. Over the last few years, this article is a little dated. I think it's from 2014, but there have been so many mysterious deaths of important people. Well, I mean, not important to me, but people that have influence over our lives. Just for example, Julian Knott, 45, JP Morgan executive, self-inflicted gunshot wound. Richard Gravino, 49, JP Morgan, unknown pending. James McDonald, president and CEO of Rockefeller and Company, self-inflicted gunshot wound. It just goes on and on and on. Sudden death, suicide, jumped, fell off a cliff, accidental drowning, suicide, jumped, heart attack, shot, house fire, cyclist hit by car. I mean, it's just, the list goes on and on. And these are just the bankers. This person only did an article focusing on the banking aspect of it. I'll leave you a link to this in the description box below for anybody that hasn't had access to this article before. It is freaking astonishing how many people and the mysterious, deaths. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. What I wanted to get at was that this man could have been controlled opposition for all I know. I'm just an amateur researcher. So not knowing anything about him, not having ever talked to him, not ever having known much about his work or his products, I don't know if he was just another Freemason working the opposition angle, the controlled opposition angle, and that he has now joined the ranks of those who have disappeared or have vanished or died under mysterious circumstances, whatever you choose to believe. But what I'm getting at is I don't think that a doctor would shoot himself in the freaking chest to kill himself. I don't know. I don't think he's going to go through that much of a hassle to give himself an open casket funeral and then leave himself out in a river somewhere where he could be gnawed at and chewed on by everything in the woods. So anyway, I'm not going to make this any longer than it needs to be. I just wanted to bring up the fact that they are reporting that this man has died of suspicious causes, suspicious self-inflicted gunshot wounds to the chest, in my opinion. And you make of it what you will, guys. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your time. I really do appreciate your viewership. Have a good one now. Leave any comments down below. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe.